It's just the
These are
whatever.
from Home Depot or Lowe's.
Okay.
But you can get them on. You can get a packet of 5. I have them all around my house right now
Yeah.
from Amazon.
That's what I used to do before I started buying real glasses.
Yeah, these are real.
Uh-huh.
These are progressive. All
Okay.
that shit.
Okay.
If I walk outside and there's sun, they'll turn dark.
Okay.
And up here, there's no prescription.
All right.
And down here, there is.
Okay.
I'm by.
You're buying. I knew something was going on.
Yeah. Transitions is what they call them.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Yeah.
I like it.
All right, you ready to go?
I'm ready. Let's go.
All right.
Looking through here like I wrote some shit down, but I don't think I did.
I got plenty of shit.
Okay, let's do it.
All right, welcome, my brothers and sisters, to Two Old Goats.
Welcome back.
Let's get uncomfortable. All right, so on this list here, we got something we can talk about: reincarnation.
Okay.
I got karma.
What the hell brought up reincarnation?
Somebody was, I think it was one of the guys in the group. They asked me what my thoughts were on reincarnation.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a good topic to talk about.
Fair. Yeah, it's fair.
Karma.
Okay.
I get a lot of people asking me,
About
do
karma.
I believe in karma?
Right.
And then, of course, the event that happened this past weekend. One of our dear friends passed away. Sober.
We went to,
Sober.
Success.
He won.
Charlie had probably close to 25, 26 years. Something like that. Yeah. I don't remember exactly.
So based off of that one, I was able to come up with a topic about sins.
Okay. It's always been one of your favorite anyway.
Yeah. What they are defined as. Do we have them? Do we don't have them?
Right.
Can we avoid them? Right. Going to heaven and hell. Preaching versus sharing. You can do that one.
Yeah. Share, Bill, share.
And then this one I think we'll save till maybe another day, which is the difference between that. Well, I don't know if it's the difference, but is just believing there's a power greater than yourself enough to get you into heaven.
Well, according to Yankee,
all you gotta do is believe.
All you gotta do is
trust. You got trust
that Jesus
did it. Everybody.
Jesus did it for you.
That's right.
If you trust that,
then you got a free ticket.
You get a free ticket.
You don't have to do anything else.
You don't have to do anything else.
You're in.
Well, that part's true. I mean, once you're...
I don't believe that shit.
Once you're... Yeah. Go ahead.
I don't believe that shit.
Well, once you're in, dude.
So you're saying that if I just believe Jesus Christ is my Lord and Savior,
that He died for your sins,
and He died for my sins,
right?
I get to go to heaven.
Even the sins you haven't committed yet,
I get to go to heaven.
If you believe it.
If I believe, I can believe it all day long. Doesn't mean I have to do anything about it.
Well, here's the cool part: if you believe it, you don't have to wait to go to heaven. You can live in heaven here and now.
That's not what Yankee said.
Oh, okay.
We're waiting in
Yankee
line
was
to
the
go.
Starting point.
We're going there.
Yeah. Well, you know my saying.
I know but that's what we're talking about. I don't believe that just believing is enough.
Okay.
I can believe all day long that you're gonna walk through that door.
Yeah. Well,
but it ain't gonna happen.
Right. Well, I think if you truly believe, you're going to change anyway. So the change in behavior comes. But it's true. It kind of gets back to the grace word that we use, or we hear sometimes. I'm sober by the grace of God, that sort of thing. And it's not just forever given; it's a grace period.
Okay,
is what we determined, I think, over time. And then what you do during that grace period determines whether you get to stay sober long term. So I don't know. It could be a tie-in to what you're talking about, of whether you get to go to heaven or not. I mean, just saying that makes the hair on the back of my neck stand
I know.
up.
That's why I was I was having
So,
a difficult time last
yeah.
weekend with some of the things that were being said, and it just very frustrating. Because I feel that I don't believe that's the truth.
Yeah.
Because if you do believe, or if you read the red part in the Bible,
Right.
there's action that needs to be taken. You have to do certain things.
Right. But you're not going to heaven based on the merit of what you did,
No.
not based on whether you accomplished something or not.
Well, that's why I'm saying if you read the red part, Jesus constantly says, "This isn't me.
Right.
I'm just the tool.
Right.
I'm just the messenger.
That's right.
All these miracles are not from me."
Right.
Right? So he's already in heaven
Mm-hmm.
right then and there because he's not taking credit for anything.
Right. He's aligned with the Spirit.
Correct. But the way they were speaking, some of those pastors and preachers and whatever, it's a debit credit.
Some of it sounded like it. I mean, Yankees was a guarantee.
Yankees was guaranteed, which
Yeah.
I don't know about that.
Yeah. Well, I think there's some work to do. I think our job is to be more like, Jesus. He was the example.
He 100% the example.
So that's our goal, is to be more like that. And I think once you get the Spirit in you, or awaken the Spirit that's already in you, it's going to get, you'll start working that way, whether you choose to do it or not. Something inside you will drive you. I think there's even scripture that says once God starts good works in us, he continues it.
Right.
So that's in alignment with that.
And the ultimate thing that we're supposed to do, if you read a lot of the prophets, not just Jesus, but a lot of the prophets, it's all about self-sacrifice of others, correct? And now my question to you, though, is it the sacrifice of others in spite of their sins or despite of their sins?
What do you mean sacrifice of others?
Sacrifice to others.
To others.
Yeah.
Yeah, to help people.
Yeah.
Okay. So what
is
was
it
the question?
In spite or despite?
In spite of ourselves?
In spite of their sins. Or is it despite?
Oh, their sins have nothing to do with it. This is when I help somebody, that's between me and God.
Mm-hmm.
And, whatever they do with it, that's up to them. That's like loaning somebody, $50. Best not be in your budget for the future. It's it's gone, and what they do with it is their business. I don't hand people, a loan or give them somebody. I don't give the guy on the corner $10 and say, "Here, you better not drink that," because I know that's what he's going to do.
Okay.
But that might save his life that night. You never know. If you got a choice between killing yourself and drinking, drink.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm just saying.
I agree. So that's our job. It's not that we're to be worshipped. It's not to be. It's actually the whole premise of that message was to be the example. And he said, all of you are God. So go do what I'm doing. And you can do what I'm doing and then some. So that's what we're supposed to do.
Right. Well, I think the then some part, a lot of people think that that's magic or whatever, but it's really not, because what we're looking at is if you learn what he's teaching, in other words, you're starting from a different point than most people who haven't learned that yet. So in other words, he's gone before as the example. I'm the example. So now we're that much further ahead.
Right.
So we can do more.
So you're talking about the metaphysics part?
I guess so.
Yeah.
I'm not real sure.
Well, the metaphysics part is the part of the walking on the water and the healing and the going against the gravity, and
that's just believing.
The metaphysics.
Yeah.
But that's the scientific part of how he was able to.
Right. A lot of that's been, proven.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is how it happened. This is why it happened.
I hear you.
And a lot of it's knowing nature. We talked earlier a little bit about nature and how there's God in nature, and if we choose to see it and stuff. You notice in all the Bible and other spiritual literatures, when the uh, prophet or whatever goes out to make contact, they don't go to the city.
No.
They go out in nature. They go out to the desert. They go out to the wilderness,
Mhm.
and they're alone out there, and that's where God talks to them.
Right.
Moses goes up on the mountaintop by himself. Jesus goes in the wilderness. A lot of times, everybody turn around. Where'd Jesus go? Oh,
Right.
he's out in the wilderness praying.
Right. Well, it's hard to hear because I believe that our higher power doesn't scream and holler. I believe it's a whisper.
Yeah, usually.
So, sometimes you can't hear your own thoughts when you're around certain people because they talk so damn loud. They're not monotone.
No.
So it's interesting. So okay, so then let's get back to this. So let's get back to the heaven. So the believing, the faith part, let's put that on another silo over here. Let's just talk about heaven and hell. Where is it? How do we get there? What do we need to do? Is it real? Is it fake? What is it? Talk to me.
Well, my, I guess, experience and understanding and everything I can put together, I think heaven and hell is here and now, and you decide either you're living in it or which one you're living in.
Okay.
It doesn't make sense to me that we're spirit and that we're going to be out of our nature, out of our element for a while. I mean, whatever that means. We're still spirit, so we're still experiencing, the heaven or the hell or whatever, however we're living. We're just talking about, what you do determine whether you get into heaven or not? Well, if what you're doing is not in alignment with the spirit, you're experiencing hell.
Okay.
If what you're doing is in alignment, you're experiencing heaven.
Okay, and what is your definition of heaven and hell?
Heaven is, when I'm in contact with my Creator.
Okay.
And I'm in that relationship, in communication, in constant contact, and alignment. That's heaven.
And what's the result of that? What's the feeling? How do you know you're there?
I would relate it to something like music. When it's harmonizing, when everything's like harmonic,
okay,
or in harmony, things seem to be going, not necessarily how I like it, but everything's making sense and falling in place and stuff like that. But I can't stop and think about, is this the way I want it or something like that, because then I'm start managing the outcome and the whole thing's screwed.
So, well, if you're saying that, then so you're talking about a frequency.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard it described that way, and I'm not ruling that out at all. I think we all are frequencies.
So then the feeling of a heaven for you, that from my understanding, because you're saying it's like music, which is harmonies, which is frequencies, right? Some people's heaven can be at a higher frequency
than others. Yeah,
right?
I would imagine.
Like yours would be Whiskey River.
Yeah,
that's my heaven,
right?
Mine is what's going on, right?
Seems to be.
So mine's a little bit higher,
right?
So I don't know. That's what we're trying to figure out.
Yeah,
I think at the end of the day, when you're talking about being in line, right? That harmonic, that frequency, it's you are where you're at, where you're supposed to be at that moment. And I feel that I've experienced, there's no friction.
Right.
Right. It's almost like this. I remember riding a bike and I'm going down the road and I have wind behind me. I can feel the wind pushing me, or on the side of me, I can feel it, right? But when I meet that speed, it's calm. There's no more wind. Now, the truth is, there is wind constantly. That's life, right? It's a constantly happen. But when you're at the speed of where you're supposed to be at, dude, it's neutral.
Right.
I believe that's heaven.
Yeah. Well, kind of what you're describing, we used to call it swimming against the stream. You know, if you're swimming with the stream, it's a lot easier. If you're swimming upstream against
Yeah.
the stream,
But why would you
it's
swim
hard.
upstream?
Good exercise. That's the question. I
Right.
mean, why would you not live in harmony? Why would you, not seek out what it is to be in alignment?
That's a great question. You want me to answer it?
I do.
Because sometimes I want to fucking do what I want to fucking do.
That's right. And there we have
There we have the
the
will
fall
of our higher power and the will of myself.
coming straight from the Garden of Eden and the fall of man. You know, we can blame it on Adam from the very start. You know.
Yeah. He didn't say anything.
Well,
He just went with the flow.
he did, but I think he was a lot to blame for that. So anyway, we'll get into that someday.
Right.
Too.
All right. So heaven, and from the definition that I've heard, is heaven by definition literally means the presence of God.
Yes, you're in the presence.
Right. And then God, the definition of God is to be lifted up, to be exalted. Right.
Okay.
No, you don't agree with that?
Okay. Yeah, it could be.
Okay. What else?
I think God is a job description.
Okay, what's the job?
The job is the spiritual, how we all go together and how everything works. And I mean, it's, I don't know, we were talking earlier how it even gets down to math. And you can see math in nature and everything else. So I think there's some sort of intelligent or spiritual or all of the above, we call omnipotent, omnipotent
Right.
being. It doesn't, to me, it doesn't make sense any other way.
Okay. So if it's the job description, and if we look at like what the message like Jesus did, right? And some of the other prophets, he was talking about giving of yourself, which is the definition of love, right? So the job description of God, or whatever you want to call it, is giving of itself, because it's giving to itself, right? Because we're all one. We're all one unity.
Okay.
Right? Yeah. So it's always giving of yourself to itself. And when you're doing that, then you'll feel no friction. You'll feel no anxiety. You'll feel no depression. You'll feel neutral, as if while the wind is swirling around you, you are in a peace of serenity. You're in a moment of bliss.
Well, yeah. Well, it even goes past that moment, because, I don't know if you noticed, but whenever I do something like that, or, I'm in alignment and I'm helping somebody or anything like that, when it's over with, I'm like walking on a cloud. I have all the energy, everything's wonderful, life is great.
That's because you're plugged in.
Right.
Right.
But that's what I'm saying. It is during, but even like afterwards, it keeps that feeling of being connected.
Okay.
Keeps going.
So that's heaven. Now hell. Let's talk about hell.
Yeah.
Because if the higher power created all things, then he created both heaven and hell. Correct?
Yes.
So what's hell to you? Why is there hell?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think it gets back to the yin and the yang. They're finding that symbol inside of our body now in cellular form. The yin and the yang symbol in there somewhere. I don't know. I forget who was talking about it. Probably Cruz or Jack Cruz or somebody. But our book describes it perfectly. It says, we can only be blocked off by a few things: pomp, worship of other things.
Okay.
So that's hell, and here's the tricky part about hell is a lot of times we don't know we're in it when we're in it, because like you said, I want what I want now, and I like and when I think I'm controlling the outcome, and when I think it's gonna actually happen the way I think it's gonna happen, I think, oh, everything's great. When
Right.
actually it's going to hell.
Okay.
Because by the end of it, what I thought was going to happen didn't happen. And now everybody's pissed off. And, I'm the one to blame,
Okay.
usually because, like we say, all the stuff out here, I created it. I created this world that I'm living in.
So then, why? What's the purpose of hell?
The purpose of hell is we have our own free will. And I don't know. I'm just saying my thought on it, thinking out loud here, is we have our own free will. And there's consequences and to, not being in alignment with the spirit.
Okay.
And,
But
I think it could be as
I
simple.
don't like that word consequences, because if it's created by God, then how is that a consequence?
Well, it's a consequence because it's like a spiritual principle or spiritual
Okay.
rule. It's working all the time. The principle is which side of it you're on, or even if it exists, doesn't
Right.
matter. It still works.
So you're a father.
Mhm.
So would you put good food in front of your child and poisonous food in front of your child and say, here's your free will?
No, I mean,
But our higher power did.
mm,
If he created all things,
Yeah.
he created healthy food and poisonous food.
yeah. Well, I wasn't there. Well, the poisonous isn't food. That's something else. Maybe we're confused about it
Who's
being food.
defined that?
Right. Well, maybe we're confused about it being food, and I'm sure some people got sick over eating some
Bad apples?
bad apples or.
I don't know. I'm having questions because everyone says that, the higher power, the creator, created all things, and that includes the good, the evil, the light, the dark, all of it, right?
That's right.
I think the best description that I ever heard of, and it actually came from Charlie.
Mm-hmm.
You know how you like cars.
Mm-hmm.
He gave that definition of a car. So what he said is look at it this way. You have this magnificent piece of metal, mechanical genius thing, right? That needs to move from this point to this point. It's constantly moving, right? Inside of that, what makes it move? There are things in there that are really, really beautiful. The chrome and the movements and the noises, it's just alluring, right? In his mind, he goes, that would be heaven. Everything just moving together, flowing, no friction, no nothing, right? However, in order to get that, there's some negative or hellish things in there, i.e., the fan, the radiator fan. Don't put your hand in it, right? Fucking cut it off.
But that doesn't make it hellish. It's doing its job. It's cooling something.
Right, but you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's how we're looking at heaven and hell.
Yeah.
Right? It serves a purpose.
For sure.
Right? Don't drink the antifreeze, right? That's poisonous, right? But it serves a purpose.
Well, I mean, that's basically, a knife.
Okay, so now
you can use it for good, or you can use it.
So now you look at the world, right?
Mm-hmm.
In that same aspect, you see a mass murderer with a knife. You don't go play. You don't go play with them.
Or a mass murderer with able to sign a budget or something and give millions of dollars to a country to murder other people. Yeah, same thing.
Are you getting into fucking politics?
No, I'm just telling you, it's the same thing.
But it's not. But it all serves a purpose.
Right.
Right? That's that little, in the yin and the yang, that's the little darkness in the light.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the little light in the darkness.
Yeah.
It all comes together. So hell doesn't necessarily mean that it's bad. There's a purpose for it.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I mean, if nothing more, motivational.
In order to light a fire under your ass.
That's it.
Get you moving.
That's
and now the free will is you get to choose. That simple.
Yeah.
You can
how long you want to sit on the nail. It's up to you.
You can choose to stay in anxiety. You can choose to stay in depression. You can choose to continue to do what you want to do.
Hell yeah.
And that fan belt will hurt you.
Mm-hmm.
And that antifreeze will eventually kill you.
Well, if you use it for what it's not intended for sure.
Well, there's plenty of us out there that drink poisonous all
Yeah.
the time. It's called alcohol.
Right.
It's fermented fruit.
Right.
We drink it,
And it's killing you.
and it's killing us,
That's
right?
Absolutely.
But that's our choice. That's our free will.
100%.
Just to give us the opportunity to now where that shit had to kill me in order for me to finally live.
Here's the thing. Everybody wants to forget or not face.
Okay.
Everybody wants to be safe.
Mm.
What about my kids? I want my kids to be safe. I want to be safe. Whatever. Every time you think that or make a move towards that, you're giving up freedom.
Oh, absolutely. And you're destroying them.
And what we had, yeah, there was poverty and stuff like that, but ultimately, there was a lot more freedom back when you're talking about. So what we tend to forget is the world is a freaking dangerous place.
Yeah.
We think it's all nicey nice, and we live in this city. Everybody, you have a cat?
No, I wouldn't.
All these neighbors and stuff have cats. You know how many things a cat kills in a year?
Lots.
One cat.
A lot.
Thousands.
Yeah.
Thousands of things.
Mm-hmm.
That's just your little kitty cat.
Right.
Little tabby.
I agree.
So, and that's barely nature. That's your front yard, backyard, neighbor's yard.
Right.
Out in real nature and stuff that's going on, it's rough.
Yeah.
And we've tamed it. We can control our environment to some extent, but can we really? I mean, we get a hurricane or Mother Nature comes along.
Right.
Mother Nature goes, "Oh yeah, you think that? Just forget all that stuff."
Right.
And that's how long it takes. So
yeah,
we're born into a world at war. Is my point. So, there's going to be the bad. Or what we call bad. It's not necessarily bad. It just is. I don't want that. It hurts. I like this better. It doesn't hurt.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't mean it's bad. It's just some people like a certain amount of pain. All these people getting tattoos and all that. Dude, you ain't gonna see me in a tattoo chair.
Why not?
Because I'm not into that.
Why not?
Stinging pain and all that. I'm not into that.
No.
But I went back to the freaking dentist today to finish up his little, and he must have heard our podcast. He's like, "Oh, you going Goggins, huh?"
Yeah.
God darn.
There's not much difference between a dentist and a tattoo artist. They use the same chairs.
Yeah,
a lot of the same instruments.
He hurt me today. I mean, it was. Yeah, he even threw everything down. He's like, "Man, I can't believe." We just sat there for a minute, and I'm like, "I'm not coming back again."
Right.
It's hard to talk with that thing in your mouth too. I'm not coming back.
With that rubber dam thing.
Right.
Yeah.
I want to announce my presence with authority. I'm not coming back.
They got a game that you put that on. The mouth thing.
I know you're being weird. I don't know what you're talking about.
No, it's a board game, and you have to read with that thing in your mouth. I'm not being weird.
I don't know what kind of.
It's a board game.
I bet.
Okay, so we got heaven and hell. They're both necessary. They both allow us to do what we're supposed to be doing, which is being the example, being the messenger, rising above, being Christ-like, being God-like. That's what we're supposed to do, right? Okay, so let's move on to the next one.
Well, the only other thing I'll add too, if you kind of want to get a feeling for, I don't know, what I think heaven is like. To me, it's like when you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, and that's what you want to do. You want to do this, and that's what you're supposed to be doing. That's heaven.
So say that again. Doing what you want.
What you're supposed to be doing. Like I'm supposed to be helping someone. Okay. I'm supposed to stop what I'm doing because this person asked me for help, interrupt my whole day, go help them, whatever. Mm-hmm. If I get that call and I'm like, okay, yeah, I want to help this person. I really feel like I want to. So, and I go do that. That whole thing is, instead of going, God dang it, I got to interrupt my day and go,
Right.
but I got to do it. No, I get to do it.
You're
That's
excited
heaven.
about it.
Yeah, that's heaven. I get to go to meetings.
Yeah. Okay.
So,
You don't feel guilty about not doing it.
no. That's never been, that's not why we do this.
Okay.
I mean, we do this so we can live life,
Right.
not so we can keep going to meetings and keep, whatever.
Right.
That's not why. I want to be able to live life. And, our book even says, page 101, we can go anywhere and do anything.
Right.
Well, there was a time when I couldn't.
Right.
So now I can.
I think that the other part of the heaven side, it's not just about the doing, it's also the observing.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It's using your eyes and your ears, listening to the wind, listening to nature, looking around, seeing the different colors, the beauty. I mean, it's all there, and it's a full sense opportunity, I believe.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, all these, we hear people from time to time say, I don't believe in miracles, or I don't see miracles, or I don't see God. Or, well, freaking open your eyes.
Yeah.
Pay attention and wake up. It's happening all the time. I see it every day.
Right.
You just got to pay attention and know what you're looking. Get out of yourself for a minute.
Just for a moment.
In my grand designs.
Okay.
It says my little plans.
Right.
This is what it says in the book. Something about being concerned about myself and my little plans.
My little plans.
Why do they have to be little plans? I got big plans.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I do know what you mean. I have very.
They forget
very
alcoholics are grandiose.
Yes, we are. Yes, we are. Okay, so we got heaven or hell. Let's move to sins. Because sins, wouldn't that be an intricate part? And like getting to the heaven or the hell?
No, it depends on what you believe.
Okay, well, let's just look at the definition.
Okay.
Now, you learned a new word this week, huh?
Did you expect me to remember that word?
It started with an H.
It was like Hagatsu. I forget what it was. Hatsu.
I don't know. Let's look it up. So this.
It was KHA or something like that.
So would it be the Hebrew?
It was the Hebrew meaning.
Word for sin.
Like I could pronounce Hebrew.
Kahata.
Kahata. That was close.
Khata.
Kahata.
It's the most common word in the Bible, translated as sin. It can mean to fail or to miss a goal. That's where the definition that I've heard is sin means miss the mark.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It's a archery term, missing the mark. So when you're in line...
So I sin all the time.
Well, why is that?
At the archery range.
Why is that, though?
Because I can't see where the shit, for one thing.
You don't need to fucking see.
Practice enough.
You don't need to see. See, that's where you're trying.
True. You're right.
You know what I'm saying?
You're right.
You don't need to. That's where you're sinning while you're sinning.
Yeah.
But see, I believe that word sin, that does coincide with heaven and hell, right? Because if it means to miss the mark, it means, if heaven means that I'm in line with our higher power, I'm doing the will of my higher power outside of myself, right? Then the word sin literally is the action of the heaven. Is I'm in line, I'm not thinking about, are my feet, are my feet where they're supposed to be, my hands, I'm not worried about any of that. I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing and enjoying that moment, right? Then I can't miss the mark because I'm in line with the spirit. I'm not in line with the human.
Okay. Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So then that's interesting because if, like in the Bible, it talks about how Jesus came and he died for all of our sins, the ones before us, the ones during us, the ones after us, all our sins. Why?
Why did he do it?
Yeah.
Because God loved the world so much. John 3:16.
Well, I understand he gave
Yeah.
his
So
son,
that's
right?
how much he loves us. That's why,
Okay.
because God loves us.
But aren't you the son of God as well?
Hmm.
So did not God give you too?
Well, the price had to be paid because we're sinners.
But aren't you still the son of God?
Yeah.
Aren't you the price that needs to be paid as well?
No, the price has already been paid. Jesus paid the price.
What
for
about the
all of
people
us.
before Jesus?
It's like when you are in line at the Jack in the Box because you eat shit
Okay.
on the end of the corner, and you pay for the guy behind you.
But if Jesus was the example,
Mm-hmm.
and he clearly says it, all just states it constantly, I'm the example, I'm the example, I'm the example, then
The
aren't you
lamb.
supposed to be dying for other people's sins as well?
We do.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's what I'm asking.
Right.
Because everyone says that, well, Jesus died for all the sins. But yet Jesus says, do as I do. So you
Right.
need to die of other people's sins
Right.
too.
Well, whenever we, go out of our way or stop what we're doing, or we're dying of ourselves
Mm-hmm.
whenever we put somebody else's needs ahead of ours.
In spite or despite of their sins.
Yes.
Right? So we're
Their
paying for
sins
it.
doesn't matter.
Correct. That's how we pay for it. Because their sins don't matter.
Right.
Because we're paying for it by being of service. We're giving of ourselves. We're
Okay.
sacrificing.
Yeah.
So that's what Jesus did.
Yeah.
So technically, I'm Jesus.
You're
I'm the Son of God.
little G.
And I go be of service. Well, Jesus was little G too.
Little J.
He was a little G. I'm a little
Right.
G.
Right.
So Jesus said, "We're all the same. We're all
Okay.
God's."
Get after it.
I am. That's what we're doing right now.
Okay.
Being the example. So I'm going out there dying for the sins of others as well.
I guess so. It could be called that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So apparently they didn't die
Loosely.
for all of them because they're still around. Or else I
No,
wouldn't have
it
to
doesn't
work.
mean we're going to quit having them.
Right.
They're already paid for. And if he already paid for that person's sins, we're just helping that person. We're not really paying for their sin. It's already been paid. Can't pay twice.
Yeah, but that doesn't make any sense to me.
Well,
It doesn't make any sense. If you already paid for the sins, then I can just fucking sin and I'm still getting into heaven because I
that's
already
right.
paid
If
for
you
it.
believe he paid for them, that's right.
But I can go kill
Because
a
you're
motherfucker
human. Yeah.
and it's still good.
Yeah.
Ay, Dios mío. That's the stupidest
Yeah.
shit I've ever heard in my life.
You have to repent and do all that stuff.
I know I don't because that's not what Jesus said. Now you're talking about Roman Catholics. That's a
Okay.
whole nother entity.
Okay.
Jesus never said, "Oh, after I die, you have to repent now."
I'd have to go back and read, but I'm
It's
pretty
not
sure
in
you're
there.
not supposed to be murdering people.
Well, but if all the sins are already paid for, you can do whatever you want. They're already paid for.
Well, it might be in line with God. He's a warrior, so he might send your ass off somebody.
Well, that's the thing because there is still that dark part that God
You
created.
never know.
So
You never
I don't know. I mean, I don't know about the whole sin thing anymore.
Yeah.
I'm confused now.
Yeah.
If they're already all paid for, then
Yeah.
I'm good.
You're good if you
But
believe.
But yet, here's the crazy part.
Yeah.
I say I don't believe, but I'm just bullshitting.
Yeah.
Okay. Because I do believe that when I am missing the mark, I am in hell.
Mm-hmm.
I feel anxiety. I feel depression. Right? I feel those things. I feel the frustration. I feel the friction of this world. And I don't like it. And the more and more sober I am, the more and more pussified I am.
Mm-hmm.
I get very emotional.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like to be in that moment anymore.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I do like to be in line with my higher power. I do like to give of myself as much as possible because I know that's where heaven is.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to stay there as long as possible because, man, it's nice.
Mm-hmm.
Believe it or not, this is the honest truth. I really do believe this. If you are constantly giving of yourself, this universe provides everything.
Now you're getting into karma.
Boom. I love how that transition went.
Oh,
Right?
okay.
But I do
Sweet.
believe that. I do believe when you are in the sunshine of the Spirit, more often than not, things in life tend to go pretty cool. Even when life happens, shit happens, it's really not as bad as if you're living on the other side of the street, where you're
Right.
not cleaning house, where you're
Right.
not trusting God, where you're not in line, right? You could have two different people, right? Have the same person living in a house that's clean, in order, and all they do is, how can I be of service? How can I be of service? And another one goes, fuck you, fuck everybody. Everybody's out to get me. They don't mow the lawn. They don't fucking clean their garage. It's all fucking chaotic over there, right? Everything's just fucking shitty. They believe in Kamala Harris and all that shit, right? All this stuff, right?
It's getting
You've been
political
political
now.
early. You got political earlier. All right, so you have those two things. Now the same exact thing could happen to both of them. Both of them, their mother could pass away, whatever, right? Tragic death. The person in order and everything takes it way different than the person chaotically.
Well, for sure. Yeah, absolutely.
So when you're in heaven, things aren't that bad, even when bad shit happens.
Yeah. Well, I think when you're in heaven, you get further away from good and bad. You get closer to things are.
They are, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you don't. It's a feeling of neutrality.
In a
There's
lot of
no
ways,
highs.
yeah.
There's no lows. Now,
Yeah.
feeling of anxiety, self will, all that shit that happens when that same thing happens over on that side of the street. Oh God, the whole fucking world's gonna end, and I can't go to work anymore, and I got so much depression, and I can't do this, and then it just fucking snowballs and gets even worse and worse and worse, right?
Well,
Until you either die or you die.
right.
Then you have that moment, and you can go clean your house, mow your lawn, get shit in order,
Get it in order. Get
and
it
you
together.
can start living in heaven,
Right.
like that.
It's it's literally that easy.
It is literally that easy.
Mm-hmm.
But try to tell somebody while they're living in that, they can't hear shit.
Well, that's like telling somebody, they don't have to have diabetes.
Yeah, but what do you mean? I got it.
Yeah. No, you don't have to have it.
That's right. Well, I was telling Amy, those people, I am one of those people at times, right? I remember all these years people are telling me, oh, you're an alcoholic, you have you have all these issues and all this stuff. Alcohol is a big problem in your life. And none of that, as all those people I heard them, but none of it made any sense, because that chaos, that alcohol, that was my solution. So how the fuck can my solution be my problem? That makes no sense to me.
Mm-hmm.
Until I finally died of it.
Mm-hmm.
I go, oh shit, that's what they were talking about. I had no fucking idea.
Yep. Last one to know.
Right?
Yep. Pretty common.
So, I don't know. You want to talk to karma?
Sure.
Talk to me.
Well, it's, essentially, if you do good things are going to happen to you.
Okay.
I think, a couple of things about karma that people don't understand is, it's like the spiritual principles. It's happening all the time. And the more consistent you are in line with the spirit, the more consistent that's what's going to happen in your world, because you're creating your world.
Right. We're all creators.
Yeah. So if you're creating a bunch of, inconsistency and, not in line with the spirit stuff, that's what's going to show up in your world.
Okay.
And, so that's kind of the big thing about karma. People think, oh, if I do something nice for somebody, then they'll do something nice for me. That's not necessarily true. Somebody will probably do something nice for you, but it may not be that exact person. Chances are it's not going to be that.
So you're
person.
saying, so essentially, first and foremost, you have to quit playing God.
Yeah.
Because you can throw shit out there, but you can't pretend that you think you know how it's going to come back to you.
Right. Well, true. But, I guess if you break it down to the Bible verse or term, it is, you reap what you sow.
Okay.
That's karma.
But from my understanding, you can rise above karma.
You can. If you believe in prayer, you can overcome it.
Okay. How do you do that?
It's called an intelligent prayer.
I thought it was a scientific prayer.
Scientific, intelligent, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
No, you pray and you realize your shortcomings, what you've done, and you make amends for it, and you don't necessarily, have to go through whatever it was that you did, whatever.
Right.
As long as you make the amends and you change, that's the thing. It's that simple. You have to die. It's a little death.
The little death.
A little death.
In order for you to have a big life.
In order to have life, yeah,
Okay.
you have to die.
Okay.
So, in a nutshell, as Austin Powers says, "Oh, I'm in a nutshell. Let me out."
I don't know what that
That was for Ron.
Yeah. I don't know what that was. Leave that one alone. Okay. That's good. So we're moving along. We're doing good.
So that was it. I did karma that simple.
Karma is simple. It really is. It's truly. All right. Here's. This is the part that I had an issue with. The biggest part. Not so much the whole. If you believe you're gonna get into heaven, you don't have to do shit. I don't. That's bullshit. I do believe you have to do something.
To do something
you
while
have to
you're
do
here.
something.
Okay.
Because we're supposed to be the example,
Mm-hmm.
right? You can't be in heaven sitting on the couch eating bonbons.
Man, I was looking forward to that.
Well, initially you think you can,
Right.
and it feels kind of good,
Yeah.
but eventually it don't work out. It's all a fucking
I
facade.
thought calories don't count in heaven.
Calories
What the
don't
hell?
count. Yeah. All right. So let's look at that the preaching versus sharing. This is what really got me, right? Because you read a lot of the books that we read. None of those guys take credit for the shit that they did. Okay? They just share. Right? I don't take credit for saving people. I don't take credit for helping people. I don't do any of that shit. Okay? Now, I can take blame for everything. That's okay. That's ho'oponopono.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Please forgive me for all the shit that's out there.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
So going back to the preaching and the sharing, right? I believe like that's what happened this weekend was I heard somebody going around boasting about all the people that they saved.
Mm-hmm.
The ones sitting down and the ones standing up.
Mm-hmm.
He saved them all.
Mm-hmm.
This way and that way.
Right.
But I think, that's the difference. And there's an attraction to the sharing.
Oh, for sure.
Right?
Yeah.
There's not an attraction to the preaching.
Right. Usually not. I mean, I don't know.
Well, it depends. If the preaching's gonna freaking give you a hand job, hey, that kind of works, right?
Okay. I never had that.
Well, it's a spiritual hand job.
Okay. All right.
Well, I mean, think about it. If the preacher sits there and makes you feel good about yourself for the shitty things that you fucking did.
Oh, that's not what I'm talking about.
Oh.
Okay.
That's the spiritual hand job.
I got you.
They're patting you on your ass, making you feel good about yourself. Oh, just think that you're a good person.
Right.
That's the preaching that's attractive to people, but it's all fucking lies.
I agree. Well, I think sometimes the guy was the message kind of got lost in somewhere. I think his message was trying to be, show up and be available to talk about it. That's one of the biggest things that came up in the meeting yesterday of having, or if a newcomer shows up or something like that, do you have the ability to get them started, get them going in the program? Are you literate?
Right.
Are you spiritually literate in that? And I think his intention was to say, look, be available, go out and spread the word, share the message as much as possible. But I think the way he said it and a lot of his words were, I did this and I did that.
Yeah.
And that
it gets
kind of took, yeah. And I can see what you're talking about for sure.
Well,
And
from my experience, the moment you put yourself back in the fucking equation, the translation is going to get fucked.
yeah, it changes.
You know, the moment I sit there and go, do you know how many people I've saved? Do you know how many people I fucking work
Right.
with? You know how many people I work, you know?
Yeah.
Then fuck, you just got your reward.
Yeah. Well,
that's it,
that's
man.
it. Yeah.
You ain't getting any more.
Right.
So, you know how many times I get asked how many people have you worked with?
Yeah.
I have no idea.
I have no idea. A
you
bunch.
You know who counts? Grandmas.
Yeah.
Grandmas fucking count.
Oh, I didn't know about that.
Yeah, grandmas count.
Okay.
Yeah. No one else counts.
Well, nobody's counting for me anymore. So
you know, the interesting thing is I said the same thing when people ask me, how many drinks is that? Fucking grandmas count.
Yeah.
It's the same thing, man.
Yeah.
Get out my business.
I don't know that I ever had anybody ask me how many I've had.
That's because you just had one.
I had one. That's right.
The big gulp.
That's right. The big gulp got
there was no question. It was like, oh, he's still on the same drink.
That was my reasoning when I filled out the paperwork at the doctor.
Surely.
How many drinks do you have in a week? I would go, it's never empty.
Just
one. That's it.
Yeah. So, okay.
Thank you, big gulp.
So I think there is a big difference. The preaching can allure people, especially if there's a lot of bullshit and facades and mixed messages to make you feel good. And if you just say these words, you get a ticket into heaven.
Yeah.
That's bullshit.
No.
There's more to it than just saying these words.
Yeah, oh yeah, for sure. So, yeah, it's about where you are and who you are. And I think what you do is important. I don't think it's going to pave your way into heaven or anything like that.
Right.
No,
it definitely won't.
Getting back to the neat thing I enjoyed about Charlie's deal was the non-preacher people who talked.
Oh, absolutely loved it. His daughter?
Oh, she was...
You know what she reminded me of? One of the speaker meetings.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she was good.
She was really good.
I was like, she's been around AA for a while.
She has.
She knew some shit.
She's heard a lot of speakers, and so she's probably, had a knack for it. But she did a really good job. I don't know how she did it without. There was a couple times she got choked up, but not like. I mean, I would have been bawling. Yeah. I couldn't have done it. I mean,
I was very impressed.
Yeah.
I was very impressed.
Yeah.
And even though Ron
did a good job.
He impressed me for the first time. Well, no, not the first. The first time Ron ever impressed me was when he told another alcoholic to get the fuck out of here and go drink.
Right.
Because you ain't done.
Right.
I was like, now that's AA.
That's it.
That's it right there.
That's it. If you ain't done.
He said, I'll even give you $5 for your first drink.
Heck yeah.
Even though I don't think $5
I wouldn't buy anything right now. But back in the day, that was
the first time he impressed me in one of those meetings.
Yeah.
So
he did good.
Yeah, no, absolutely. There was some good shares up there.
Yeah, absolutely. Kind of the thing I took away from it, and I remember Charlie talking about it. We used to do we had Charlie's Big Book study for those people who don't know, and we went to his house. Tom thought it was a secret meeting when we first started.
It was like the mafia, dude.
Yeah.
I joined the mafia.
But one of the things that came up, which I remember Charlie talking about several times, was one of his goals was to not criticize. Under any circumstances, don't criticize. And then a little bit later, we kept talking, different months later or whatever. And his new goal was to not even have a thought about criticizing.
Okay.
And that's, I've been kind of trying to do that since I reheard it again last weekend. And it's challenging.
Oh, hell yeah.
It's challenging not to have a critical thought or criticizing thought.
Well, that's going back to seeking neutrality.
Mm-hmm.
I believe that, seeing the higher power within, seeking the Christ within, that's where the criticism does stop. You don't see it anymore.
Mm.
You know, it's just like, looking into nature and you see, another animal eating another animal, right? You'll criticize, oh my God, that's a horrible thing to see,
Mm.
until you realize necessary,
Mm-hmm.
right? They're like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
that's so evil. Necessary,
Mm-hmm.
right? Well, then shit. Now I got to go back to thinking about what that preacher is talking about. Why am I so critical of him?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that's a thought.
So then I'm going to have to look and I'm going to have to say thank you
Yeah.
because you're keeping me in the
Yeah,
keeping me, making sure that I'm not going to go around fucking taking claim for all the great things I do.
that's a big one.
That's where a lot of them lose
Yeah.
it.
Well, like you said, it's. I mean, not only are you claiming your reward now, and there's no reward in heaven after that. The other thing is, we say a program of attraction. I think it's all about attraction.
100%.
Like the way Andy Andrews talks about it in his book when he's working with young guys and stuff coming up. It's about look at how you look.
Yeah.
You just woke up and threw on your cleanest dirty shirt.
Right.
Why don't you freaking wash your clothes every now and then and say yes, ma'am, and yes, sir, and look people in the eye, and and it's that sort of thing that gets attraction,
absolutely,
rather than promotion.
Well, ultimately, you're doing some shit that you really don't really want to be doing. So wash your face and put some oil in your hair and look good.
Right.
No one needs to know about the shit.
No, get out there and
do your thing.
Yeah. If you want to make it different, make it different.
Yeah.
But
because that is where the attraction comes in. When you're able to share this message and never say a fucking word, that's where you're
right.
at.
Oh, absolutely.
That's it.
Yeah. But that's it. Yeah, that's going to heaven to me.
Yeah.
All these people that are, like we said before, all these people that are going to heaven, they're in the way.
They're in the way.
Yeah, get out of the way. We're having it here. We're having it today.
Well, I'm going to keep dipping my toe in the hell once in a while, though.
Yeah, of course.
Just to see. What keeps me motivated to stay in the other side, That's
those character defects that we like, that we don't want to give up.
But they're necessary.
Hang on to.
Our higher power will use them.
Oh yeah. Well, that's the thing. We don't lose them. We're giving up control of them.
He'll use them when he needs
and let him use it whenever he needs to. Sometimes, like we were talking about earlier, this is a world at war. Sometimes God needs an asshole.
Oh, absolutely.
He's like, dude, I need an asshole over here.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
Tommy, 911.
Absolutely. Well, looking at it even on a cellular level, right? There's asshole cells in there that go around and kick people's asses, right? You get these foreign bodies coming into our body, right? They don't mean any harm, but everyone's like, oh my God, there's a foreign thing in my body, right? It's a virus, so we need to kill it. Dude, that virus wasn't hurting anybody. It was cool, right? But now we got to create all this bullshit to go kill this virus. The virus is like, for real, guys, I'm not here to cause any trouble,
Oh, yeah.
And it would have been just fine.
Yeah.
But now it's a thing.
I don't know. Yeah, you're going to get me talking about vaccines and shit here in a minute.
I'm just talking about the shit inside your body.
Right.
Because your body will say, okay, let's go do something. Because it doesn't need you.
It doesn't.
It doesn't need vaccines.
Well, it works better without me.
Yeah.
Without me putting Jack in the Box in.
There you go.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, I think we figured out all the fucking...
Well, that's all I know.
Things.
Yeah. That's all I got.
So
don't criticize.
Don't criticize. Seek neutrality.
Yeah.
Be in heaven. Dip your toe in hell once in a while.
Get out in the sun.
Go live.
That's it.
There you go.
That's all I got.
All right, guys. Appreciate you all coming.
All right. We'll see you later.
All right. Peace out.